Hi, I'm Dr. Brandon Schultz, Associate Professor in the Department of Psychology at East Carolina University, and I want to thank you for your interest in our project, ATHEMOS the Game. I'm developing the game in coordination with my colleague, Dr. Steve Evans at Ohio University. He is the developer of the Challenging Horizons program, which informs many of the interventions you'll find in the game.
ATHEMOS is set in the year 2033, and Earth has just narrowly avoided dangerous near-Earth asteroids that seem to have been directed toward us by extraterrestrials in the asteroid belt. This backstory is provided early in the game as a news broadcast. In fact, it's the first thing that players see. Then, after a brief flying tutorial, the player pilots a spaceship called the ATHEMOS to engage alien robot drones and collect what are called intel, which they eventually bring back to Earth for analysis. The battle sequences in the game are meant to motivate the player, and each subsequent round gets increasingly difficult as the player is taken to various locations around the solar system. Along the way, the player battles 4 types of enemy robot drones, and eventually encounters a boss spacecraft referred to as the Sovereign for an added sense of urgency and excitement. After each battle sequence, the player is brought back to the Silent Canopy base on Earth, which is home to an international team of scientists dedicated to defending Earth from the aliens. Here, the player's task is to make sense of the intel and understand why the aliens are in our solar system and why they seem to be attacking. Clues about the intel are provided throughout the Silent Canopy base. For instance, players can talk with 4 characters who are researching the alien spaceships, their language, their locations, and their goals and motivations. These 4 characters are identified as the Chief Science Officer, the Linguist, the Engineer, and the Cryptologist, respectively. In addition, there are text clues hidden throughout the base in the form of memory sticks. Players can interact with those icons to get small chunks of the alien's backstory. The first thing players must do in the Silent Canopy base is sort the intel into 4 categories. The intel are sentence fragments, noun or adjective phrases that belong into the 4 categories, but not always in an obvious way. Players must take advantage of the clues in the Silent Canopy base to sort everything correctly. Players must also set a weekly schedule for special debrief meetings with each of the 4 characters. Days in ATHEMOS advance every time the player cycles between a space battle and the Silent Canopy, and once a weekly schedule is set, players cannot make last-minute changes. Then, during the special debrief meetings, players must sort the intel they have placed in that category into main ideas and supporting details. This exercise is an analogy for note-taking, and it is perhaps the most challenging part of the game. Beginning with the second week in the game, these puzzles are accompanied with a voiceover of the entire outline, thereby imitating classroom didactics. Players are asked to listen as they work. The game ends when the player successfully places all intel in the correct order in the 4 note-taking puzzles. At that point, a special alien reveal video is played, the player's performance is briefly summarized, and the game credits roll. It is possible to beat ATHEMOS in just over an hour if no mistakes are made along the way, but we expect it will take new players much longer. Thankfully, progress is saved using a login system, so players can return to the game and pick up where they left off. We do not believe that ATHEMOS or any educational game can work as a standalone intervention. For the skills to successfully transfer to the classroom, we believe it will take careful mentoring. We ask one teacher to be a mentor for the student playing ATHEMOS, first by making the game available and perhaps introducing it as a reward for positive real-world behavior, like turning in homework or bringing required materials to class, as long as the student can easily earn game time. Then, after the student has had some exposure to the game, the mentor reveals how ATHEMOS is an analogy for expectations at school. Specifically, the 4 characters and their areas of research represent the 4 core courses in school: science, language arts, math, and social studies. The colors associated with those categories in the game, red, green, blue, and purple, are ideally matched to notebooks in a real-world binder system. From there, real-world organization, assignment tracking, and note-taking skills interventions can proceed, using ATHEMOS-themed materials and checklists if the student finds them helpful. The anticipated benefit of ATHEMOS is in student engagement and skill rehearsal. It is probably much easier for the mentor to talk to the student about a game rather than about difficulties in the classroom, something students with ADHD hear frequently. And as the student progresses in the game, they will have successfully categorized materials repeatedly, successfully used a weekly planner repeatedly, and successfully sorted information into main ideas and supporting details repeatedly, providing lots of opportunities for praise. But for students who struggle with the game, telemetry data or information about their performance within the game can give mentors a clue about what aspects of the game are most challenging and how the mentor might first assist gameplay and then real-world performance. If the problem is motivation, mentors can offer special codes that unlock rewards within the game. The player might unlock a skin that makes the ATHEMOS look like a pizza, for example. These codes provide a free and easy source of rewards that teachers can take advantage of immediately. It might also help to frame the experience as an opportunity to be a game developer. Players will be asked for their feedback at the end of the intervention, so technically they will contribute to game design, and we found this aspect to be very motivating for middle school students. But we also know that each case will be unique. For this reason, we have specially trained consultants to support teachers as they implement ATHEMOS. It will likely take some time and problem solving to adapt the game and its support materials to the needs of each student, but our hope is that ATHEMOS will strengthen the intervention while lifting some initial burdens from teacher mentors. We encourage mentors to review the game manual and intervention guide and collaborate with the consultant throughout the ATHEMOS intervention. Again, thanks for your interest in ATHEMOS, and we hope the intervention materials are helpful.